What's going on, gorgeous? Slickcock is here. Thank you so much for stopping by, and today we are going to be discussing a very interesting theory that the delay to Beyond Light for Destiny 2 had a little bit more going on than Bungie simply needing more time. And so, let's get started. Now, I originally debuted this theory on the new podcast I started with MTash and True Vanguard Real Gamer Hour, which airs tonight, by the way, every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Guys, honestly, check it out. It's been a ton of fun. Everyone seems to be really enjoying it, so click the link in the description down below. But for this, I literally put on a tinfoil hat and explained what I was thinking, so this is not to be taken as, oh, I've got some inside information, but more so looking at some puzzle pieces. Again, I really do think there is something going on here, but take it with a grain of salt. It's mostly speculation. But seriously, what happened before the most recent news came out involving the next-gen consoles was just a classic game delay that honestly didn't look too good. Remember, Bungie also had to delay Shadowkeep. This was the second time in a row there was a delay involving their major fall expansion, and a lot of people, including myself, were saying, maybe it's time to stop shooting for these September release dates. Like, since Destiny 1, everything big has always happened in September. But the big difference between what happened in the past and the last two expansions with Shadowkeep and Beyond Light is that Bungie has gone independent. They ditched Activision and it's just Bungie. And so independent Bungie has missed 100% of those fall release dates. So again, there was a lot of speculation that maybe it's time to stop shooting for that. Maybe it's time to restructure the traditional schedule for content. However, all of this was kind of thrown on its head when the date for the delay, at the time, November 10th, was just a random day. In fact, it looked pretty bad because that was a significant delay. In the past, Bungie had needed a couple of weeks. Now they're asking for a couple of months, which in development time is massive. But that random November 10th date became not so random when Xbox showed up and announced that its next generation consoles, both the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, were launching on November 10th. Now, to me, that cannot be a coincidence. Like, I really don't think that Bungie randomly picked November 10th and then Xbox just happened to also pick November 10th just purely coincidentally. No, there had to be some conversations going on in the background. Now, who was pulling the strings? Was it Xbox saying, listen, Bungie, Halo is pulling out. We need some launch titles. And you guys are going to Xbox Game Pass, which is a huge deal. We'll talk about that in a sec. But could Beyond Light also kind of be an Xbox launch title if it premieres at the same time the new consoles go live? And I think that is very possible, if not likely, that Xbox did have some influence over that November 10th delay. Possibly Bungie was gonna delay anyways, and they told Xbox about it, and Xbox said, hey, originally perhaps they were going to come out on October 30th, just randomly. But then Xbox said, how about you take a couple extra weeks and delay it to November 10th so it's in line with our launch date? Now, did Bungie get a little bit of sauce with that deal? Did Xbox give them a little incentive? Is Xbox potentially funding this move? I don't really know. The far end of the spectrum is that Xbox came to them and they were actually set to release on September 22nd, and Xbox said, no, can you delay? Obviously, Bungie isn't just sitting around. They would have delayed and then added probably more stuff to this expansion, but Xbox said, can you delay just so that you can line up with November 10th? That is an extreme example, and that would indicate that Bungie was getting funded by Xbox pretty significantly. I don't think that was the case. It was probably just a delay, and then Xbox influenced Bungie into delaying to specifically November 10th to coincide with their launch. Now, perhaps perhaps on the complete other end of the spectrum, Bungie had knowledge of when Xbox is going to launch and then thought, you know what, we're going to be on Game Pass, we need to delay anyways, why don't we just line up with the launch? This could have been all on Bungie's part. But I think regardless of what happened in the background, I think the thing that most people would agree with, the thing that is nearly undeniable, is that the two had an influence on each other. This date, again, was not random, and Xbox and Bungie definitely considered each other when picking it. And the reason for that, again, is Game Pass. Xbox Game Pass is huge right now. In fact, it has risen in subscriptions by 50% in the last 5 months. That is insane. In fact, they have in total 15 million subscribers, and I gotta be honest, I'm one of them. I recently got Game Pass for PC just because of the value. Like, I installed Sea of Thieves to play with some friends who had it. I'm starting an Outer World playthrough. All this stuff that I had previously missed, I can now try out, and not only is it insane value right now, by the way, I'm not sponsored by them or anything, I'm just telling you what I think. Not only is it insane value right now, but EA Play is coming to Xbox Game Pass, so all those EA games, Battlefields, Mass Effects, FIFAs, Maddens, all that stuff is joining Game Pass this holiday, but also Microsoft goes and buys Bethesda for just a few $1 billion. Like, dude, that means even more games, Skyrim and all those things, the 17 versions of Skyrim are coming to the Game Pass as well. And so with 15 million users so far, and that number is probably going to skyrocket when the new consoles come out, it's very clear that Destiny 2 being there is a huge deal. And not just Destiny 2, Destiny 2 and all the expansions. If you think of trying to convince a friend to get into Destiny 2, the main holdback was them saying, how many expansions do I gotta buy? And you're like, like 3, no big deal, right? So that going away and all those major expansions being included in Game Pass just takes away the biggest barrier to entry. And you gotta think that when these new consoles come out, games now are more expensive. They're hitting $70 for next-gen platforms. Xbox is not just the cheaper approach, it's the really cheap approach because they have this all-access system, so they actually have financing. $25 a month, you get a console, and you get Game Pass Ultimate, which also includes Xbox Live. So imagine you're going that route. How many kids are going to go that route, right? It's the cheapest option. You maybe buy one game, and then, hey, I heard about Destiny 2. It's completely free to play. It comes with all the expansions. I'm going to play that as well. I really think the player base is going to explode because of this, and especially because of that timing. There's going to be a lot of hype around Beyond Light on November 10th. People are going to be getting their consoles on November 10th. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot of people take home an Xbox One S and boot up Destiny 2 for the first time with all the expansions. So, at the end of the day, is it time to stop looking at the Beyond Light delay as Bungie needing more time and potentially a kind of negative thing, but rather start looking at it as a brilliant marketing move by Bungie to align themselves with a service in Game Pass and a brand that's kind of popping off right now? There's a lot of hype behind not just the Xbox, but new consoles in general, and now Destiny 2 is swept up in that hype. It has now kind of aligned itself with being a next-gen title, even though it's not really. And I feel like this is going to bring so many new players to Destiny, and it's going to be just great for everybody, regardless of how much it kind of screws up the seasonal drop schedule, because we usually get the season after the fall expansion in December, which is only a month away from Beyond Light. So interesting to see what happens there, but aside from that, again, I think it's time to start looking at this delay very differently. Guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed, found this interesting. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKakis. That's linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.